everyone, and welcome to week 7 of Therapy Thursday, looking at the back and barrel. So again, a bit of a recap on anatomy. We're going to be having a look at the longissimus dorsi, which is the longest muscle in a horse's body and runs essentially across the back. We're going to be looking at the longissimus costarum, which you may be familiar with, runs along the rib shelf. We'll also just be having a quick look at what the extensor and flexor chain is and what that means, and also a way of identifying the last rib, which then leads to thoracic 18 or T18. So you may have already come across the idea of extensor and flexor chains of muscles. You need both of these chains to be working effectively to get correct movement. What you will see if the extensor chain is tight is constricting those top muscles. That top line will pull the head up, will drop the back because of that tightness. Similarly, if that happens and that's tightened, then what happens is the flexor chain stretches to accommodate that, and then that becomes weak. So what you tend to see is horses with weak backs have actually got weak abdominals because their top line is contracted. So the best thing to do is to build on working up the abdominals as well. You're looking to relax the top line and strengthen the abdominals so that the whole chain works together. So the longissimus dorsi is a superficial muscle, but as it's the muscle that we sit on, it does do quite a bit of work and it does really benefit from massage. I've not included a clip of this because it is essentially just a stroking motion along the back. So in the same way as you might do if you were lightly grooming or just sort of settling the hair down before putting a numbner on, you can use the heel of your hand or you can use the flat of your hand and alter the pressure accordingly. Just be aware that if your horse dips its back or steps away from you during that, it could be an indication of pain, and it might make sense to get a therapist to look at that. I am going to talk though about the costarum. This is an often forgotten about muscle. You can find it running in and out of the ribs along the rib shelf. If there is any tightness or restriction in this muscle, you can see it through the function of the ribs. The rib cage may not swing in the same way that it would do under normal gait situations. Also, the muscle supports lateral flexion, so you may not see as good a bend in one direction to another. So the rib shelf should be relatively easy to find. You can either start from the ribs themselves and work up until you meet that shelf, or you can start from the top of your horse and work down until you feel it. What you're essentially looking to do is just use your fingertips to go along that shelf, feeling each rib, and just working gently along that muscle that weaves in and out of the ribs. You can then go along and use small fingertip circles at the junction of each rib to the rib shelf itself. You're just working on the muscle, just loosening up any tension that you might have found there all the way along. So moving on to the girth area, I'm using 2 closed fists together, moving them away from each other. This is really nice for moving the fascia as well as actually getting into the muscle. You can do this one-handed, so your hand upside down, so with your knuckles facing the floor as if you're trying to crack your knuckles against the horse's side, but I just prefer this approach with 2 hands. I'm now moving to lightly stroking or effleurage of that girth area, and just a reminder of being careful if your horse is girthy. Here I'm just using an open hand to run along the ribs, feeling for every rib, just making sure that there's no reaction here. You should also do this running down the length of the ribs too. I just wanted to pick up on how to find T18, the point at which your saddle shouldn't sit behind. So you're looking for where the rib sort of disappears away, so it curves away. And if you take from where it curves and draw a straight line straight up, this is where you'll find T18. You will often find horses that have a poorly fitting saddle might be quite sore behind that area if it's rocking on their back. So it is an area to be mindful of. I hope that has been really helpful, and I'll see you all next week.